In this lesson, we're going to explore methods for taking bitmap images and tracing them to create vector graphics, line drawings, and technical illustrations. In the previous lesson, we used Corel Capture to capture a logo from a website, the lynda.com logo. And you can see we placed it down here in our gift certificate. Maybe it would be good if we could create a tracing, a line drawing out of that, or create a logo that's a vector graphic so we can manipulate it further. So that's what we're going to do using our gift certificate from the previous lesson. If you were following along, you're ready to go. If you've skipped to this lesson, however, and you've got the exercise files and you'd like to follow along, go to the Lesson 16 folder, open LDC Certificate 2.cdr. You'll have what I have. First thing I need to do is zoom in to that logo. So F2 or click the zoom tool. I'm going to zoom in here next to Sponsored By. And I'm going to go back to my pick tool now and click right on the logo. So it is a bitmap. That's why I see the white background. It has to be rectangular in shape, even though the logo itself is round. Very jagged edges, not a very good quality image. In fact, I wouldn't want to use it here on this project. So I'm going to do a little bit of tracing here and check out some of the different options for converting this into a vector. We can access those options right from the bitmaps menu here in Corel Draw. So let's go all the way down to the center of this menu where we see Quick Trace. Automatically traces the image that we've clicked on. There's also Center Line Trace, and this is the enhancement here in the Power Trace options in Corel Draw. You've got technical illustrations and line drawing options here. And we've also got the Outline Trace where we can choose to trace the image, creating line art, a logo, maybe more detail. Clip art has different kinds of detail, low and high quality images. So let's start with the quick trace. I'm going to click on that. It just takes a second. You can see it does a very quick trace, and I don't really like the end result. It doesn't look anything like our logo, so I'm going to click undo. Looks like I need a little more control. So with it still selected, just click on it, back to bitmaps. Let's go down to outline trace. Now we've got all of these different options, including line art, all the way down to a high quality image. I'm going to start with logo, and when I click on that, it actually opens up the Power Trace dialog box. You can see the before and the after results according to our selections here for trace type and the type of image, which we just selected as logo. But down below we've also got settings and colors, and we can increase or decrease things like detail, smoothing, corner smoothness. We can delete the original and remove backgrounds if we wanted to. By clicking on this checkbox, and yours may already be selected, you can see we get some transparent areas in there as well. Well, I'm going to change it from logo to a more detailed logo, and let's see what happens here. Well, I'm getting a lot more detail this time. I can actually read the text down below, even though it's not perfect. Let's try some other options like clip art. Clip art changes it even more. So I've got a little more detail showing up in here. Notice the background is totally gone. It's transparent. So it removed the white, automatically choosing that color as the background. If I go back up here to the drop down and choose a high quality image, you can see it's even better quality. But I actually like the clip art. I'm going to go back to clip art. It's like I'm creating a clip art image out of that bitmap logo. Now down below you can see the detail can go all the way down to the left for the least amount of detail. I don't see anything. To the greatest amount on the right just by clicking and dragging the slider. And that's a little too far. I'm going to go maybe one tick to the left, and I like that effect right there. I can also increase or decrease the smoothing from 0 to 100. All the way to the right increases smoothing. You can see everything's getting smoothed out nicely because it's vectors. I don't get those jagged edges. And I'm going to go down to about, let's try 80, see what that looks like. There's my preview, looks pretty good. Of course, I can move this around if it's bigger than my preview screen. In this case, we're seeing it all. Corner smoothness can also be increased. So as I click and drag that off to the right, you can see some things are happening in my preview image, getting a little bit rounder here. So I'm going to put that right to about halfway at 50. That looks pretty good right there. Now down below, do I want the original image in there? No, I'm going to delete it. I want to replace it with my new vector graphic. I am removing the background. That's important. I don't want to see that white on my gift certificate. Automatically choosing the color was actually a good move, but if I needed to specify the color myself, I just click here, grab my eyedropper, And I click on the white here in the background, but you can see I don't get these areas as well. It's one or the other. So automatically choose is the best option. I can merge adjacent objects of the same color, and that's what it's doing. That's why these areas are being removed as well. Remove the object overlap. It's being done automatically. And down below you get some results. There's going to end up being 34 curves, 403 nodes using 11 colors to create this logo or this new clip art. I am previewing before and after. You can see down below. I can do a large preview if I wanted to. Gives me a little more detail. Wireframe overlay. You can see the original in the background and the lines that are being drawn. And let's go back to before and after. I've also got zoom options and panning options here as well. Once we're happy though, we click the OK button. You can see the change right here. I'm going to press F4 to zoom out, and that looks much better. I'm going to click off the certificate to see the end result. So I like that a whole lot more than what I had originally from the previous lesson. All right, I'm going to go up to Window here because I've got another file open. It's called technical1.cdr. Here you can see a concept and a photo down below. This is an image. And if I wanted to, I can try to create a technical illustration out of this perhaps. So I'm going to press F2 or click the zoom tool. Just zoom into this photo. And it's fairly large in size as far as the dots per inch go. I'm going to go back to my pick tool, up to bitmaps, and this time I'm going to go down to center line trace because here's where I can create line drawings and technical illustrations. So I'm going to go to technical illustration. There's my before and my after. And like I said, this is a fairly large file size. So down below you can see my progress bar is moving ever so slowly. So this may take a while for it to analyze the actual bitmap image and create what will eventually be a technical illustration out of this. And that's because the trace type we selected a moment ago was centerline. You can see the other option is outline here. I'm going to leave it at centerline. And the image type, we selected technical illustration. If I prefer a line drawing, I can change it right from here. There we go. Check it out. Look at the line drawing, very technical in nature. If I want to see the background in there, I don't have to remove the background. I'm going to click there to put white in the background. Now you really get a feel for the detail in this technical illustration. So when I click OK, that's what I'm left with, more of a technical illustration than a photo. I'm going to press Shift F4 to zoom out to see the entire page, click off the page to deselect, and that's the beauty of the newly improved PowerTrace feature. So I'd encourage you to experiment with tracing either outlines and technical illustrations or logos and clip art and detailed images. Quite a few possibilities when using PowerTrace. All right, in the next lesson, we start to work with PhotoPaint, Corel PhotoPaint for editing bitmap images like photos. And in fact, that's what we're going to do in the next lesson. We're going to edit some photos using Corel PhotoPaint.